Just thought about that. All the recordings are on YouTube. And if you don't want to be recorded, please just let me know or turn off your camera. And no issues there. Happy to be able to accommodate you in any way. Just checking everybody here and seeing that everybody's in the room. Awesome. All right, so before I introduce our speaker today, I'm going to go around and have you introduce yourself. I'll share with you who I am. I'm Michael Esposito and owner of Michael Esposito Inc., which offers coaching services, workshop services, and of course, keynoting in the space of communication, helping you be able to deliver your message clearly and create an impact in your organization or in your communities. I've worked with some of you already, so some of you already know my work, and I'm going to pass it on to, let's see, somebody who I feel like would be able to share right away. Steve, would you be ready to share who you are and what you do? Awesome.
Sure. I'm Steve Laffin, Socks Off Carpet Cleaning. We do carpet, tile, upholstery cleaning, wood cleaning, wool and synthetic rugs, and we also do office cleaning. And we're out of Dutchess County, serving most all of Dutchess County and some of Ulster County also.
Awesome. And how'd you learn about the Take Action community?
Rocky introduced me to it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Angel, would you like to also share what you do? I kind of gave you a little bit of an introduction, but
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Michael. I've known Michael for a couple of years now through Toastmasters. I am a motivational speaker and a strategy consultant, and I am very excited to be here because I feel like Michael always offers something really poignant for us to think about during the month. So thank you.
awesome. Thank you, Angel. Matt, we're going to get to you. Dennis, we'll go to you first, and then Matt, and then Andrea.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dennis Wilbon, and I am the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator for Family Services. Family Services is a nonprofit organization that is based in Poughkeepsie.
Awesome. Thank you, Dennis. Go ahead, Matt Silverman.
Oh, you want me?
Yeah, who you are and what you
Oh,
do.
okay. No, it just blipped there for a second. So but I'm here, Matt Silverman with Silverman Editing Services. I'm a writer and an editor. I help people write books, do ghostwriting for people. I have a new book out, and I'm working on one with Michael. So I was able to actually be here and figure out the technology and get here at the right moment. So
Yeah, we've been
looking
we've been
forward
working on this
to
book now
today's
for a
session.
year, Matt. Sorry, I keep you on your toes.
That's what
Andrea.
I'm here for.
Hi, I'm Andrea Infelice with Eagle Eye Books, which is a bookkeeping company. I offer virtual remote services for small businesses using QuickBooks Online. And
Awesome.
I'm here because of Rocky.
I was just gonna ask. Awesome. Are you guys part of his BNI chapter?
We,
Awesome. Great support. And you're gonna get a lot of information from Rocky today. We'll introduce him shortly. We have two more introductions. We'll get to Jamie in a second. Lewis, tell us about yourself. Oh, Lewis, I remember meeting you. Yeah.
Yeah, how's it going?
You know what gave it away? The
Hey,
chairs in the
there's Lewis.
background.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I'm Luis Rosado. My company's Rosado Works. I do custom furniture, design, fabrication, restoration, and repair. And yeah, Michael and Rocky brought me here today. So yeah.
Awesome. And I love your virtual background. I know that that's not even real behind you, that
Yeah,
wood
I know,
stuff, right?
right? I wish it wasn't real. Yeah.
And Jamie.
Hey guys, I'm a personal trainer and I specifically help active people who are in pain, have chronic pain figure out the root cause of it and address it so they can get strong and keep doing all the fun shit that they love. Sorry for the whisper, but it does.
Love it. Yeah, and Jamie, I got to give him a big plug right now. Jamie has been working with me. I have my knee injury still lingering. He's been putting together some routines for me to be able to work on my body while training for this 100-mile ride, which I'll share with you in a moment. While training for this 100-mile ride, to work on it and not get weak and be in pain. So it's been really great working with Jamie, put together a great stretching program and a great physical program in the gym. So definitely reach out to him if you need some help in those areas. Right before I introduce Rocky, I'm going to remind you now, and I'm going to remind you at the end of this. We still have Pedal for Purpose is still going on. It's a 105-mile ride that we're doing from Somers, New York, down to Battery Park and back. It is to raise money for the children in Haiti to help them with their nutritional, medical, and housing needs, really. So there is an orphanage there, and because of the upheaval of the government in Haiti right now, a lot of the resources are being used because so many people in Haiti are actually coming to the orphanage and to the hospital just for shelter, just for basic needs. So if you could just go to joinpedalforpurpose.com, make a small donation of $25 or ride with us on May 31st. You could also become a virtual rider. All of that is a 100% donation to Forgotten Children of Haiti, which is a non-for-profit, and we'll be happy to send you a letter. All that being said, let's get to why you are here. You're here to meet a master storyteller. Now, we use the word master and we sometimes overuse it, but for this person specifically, I've witnessed his growth in storytelling, going from just sharing stories that he knew from the past to then creating stories for his clients. You've seen them on social media, you've seen them on YouTube, and now he's going to show you or share with you some practical tips on how you can pull out your phone, how you can pull out a nice camera of sorts, and start not just talking to the camera, but sharing a story that resonates with your clients and a story that's going to bring your brand into the picture. Please welcome my friend, Rocky Santo.
Wow, Michael, you're really good at introducing people.
I have a little experience in that field.
Yeah. Wow. I feel good now. No, it's great to get to share a little bit today and really just to lead a conversation centered around a very important topic. And I want to start off with a conversation because we all live different lives and we all have different businesses. But if we could go around the room, and I don't know if we'll have time for everyone to share, but I definitely want everyone to be ready to share. And I may select randomly who gets to share for a moment, but I want you to think for a second about a moment in time in your life where you were moved deeply. Think about a time, maybe a conversation, maybe a conference, it could have been a talk, it could have been just a event, something, a time in your life where you were touched deeply and you were moved. Anyone have anything jump to mind immediately? Not going to necessarily call on you. Jamie. Jamie, would you like to share your moment?
Sure. A couple of years ago, the morning after my wife and I hosted an engagement party for my stepdaughter and our now husband, the following morning we were having breakfast, and as we're eating brunch together as a family, they passed me a gift, which I thought was weird because I'm like, I'm the stepdad here. Like, why am I getting a gift the day after your engagement party? And I opened it up and I started, and there was an inscription. They wrote something in front of this. It was a really nice leather-bound book, and in the front, it basically was my stepdaughter and her husband's way of asking me, I'm already feeling it, to perform their wedding ceremony. And that just like completely took me by surprise, because I'm not a parent. So I didn't really see myself other than being a supportive role at their ceremony, but they asked me to play a crucial role. And that was deeply moving, and to the point where I can't even share the story right now without tears in my eyes. So
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Jamie.
thank you.
That's awesome. Does anyone else have something come to mind? A moment you'd be willing to share? Sometimes these are the most
Lewis, you looked like you wanted to share.
overwhelming moments. Lewis, do you want to share? No?
Rocky likes to go deep.
I do, and I like to start by going deep. And there's a reason for it. I'm going to share a moment in a second, but the reality and what I have found is that our lives aren't measured by time as much as they're measured by moments. And when you look back over the course of your journey, and in a more practical surface level over the course of your business, you really would tell the story of your business by moments. Like I can remember very distinctly the moment when my business started. So maybe that's what it is for you. You know, sometimes finding the moment is about finding when you took a bold step forward. Anyone want to share the moment of like starting the business? Go ahead, Michael.
So I'll share a quick moment for all of you. I remember the very first moment that I knew I wanted to become a speaker. Growing up, I knew I wanted to be an actor. I wasn't sure why I wanted to be an actor, and I was never able to piece it together. What I was able to figure out eventually over time was it wasn't necessarily to act in the sense of the fame and all the rest. It was more of being able to bring that joy to others. And so when I was able to figure that moment out, is when I kind of started living into my purpose of speaking. And that's when I joined Toastmasters. And I remember that very first moment when I was at Toastmasters and I was listening to a speech, and it was given by a Mode who was the current president and is still a current member of Toastmasters. And I remember watching him speak. And while he wasn't somebody that you would see on huge stages, and he has an accent that he's from India, so he has an accent that sometimes gets in the way of of the message that he's trying to share. His presence and the way he was able to share his message to where it resonated with us and to where we were drawn emotionally and we laughed with him and it was an emotional speech from what I remember, and where we really felt our feelings in that moment was when I knew I was like, one, I got to join Toastmasters, but two, that's what I want to do. This is what I want my profession to be able to move people into action, to be able to inspire people to live out their dreams, and to be able to touch people in a way where, goes beyond what we know in the physical sense. So, as the book that you gave to me, Rocky, which is one of the quotes that I love, which is "Words are magic," living into that purpose from that moment, which was in 2017, to today, has been just incredible.
Very good. Thank you for sharing, Michael. Has everyone thought of a moment? I'm not going to make you share it. Everyone here at least thought of one. That's all I need right now, because we're going to go on a little bit of a journey together. So it might be something very personal. I just want you to hold on to that. Our impact, here's what we need to realize about moments. Our impact and profitability. So two things I think everyone on this call wants. We want to have impact in some way, right? You want to affect others. You want to have an effect in other people's lives. And we also need to be profitable in some way. Our impact and our profitability is measured by the moments we create for others. So you actually have the ability to create a moment that is deeply moving for someone else. And I want to start here because, okay, raise your hand if this resonates with you. Beginning of this year, I had this realization where I'm to this point in my career, in my entrepreneurial journey. I think most of you know what I do, but my entrepreneurial journey of having a video production company where I only move forward now when I move other people. Anyone else in a career, could be sales, it could be having a team under you, where you need to move someone in order to move forward in your career. Just show of hands. Anyone have this as a reality in what they do? Lewis, I'm going to pick on you. Yeah, good. Because you have to make sales, and that's moving people, right? Everyone here in some way is in sales. So that's an easy one. But the problem is moving people is difficult. Moving people, not just on the surface level, but we want the whole person, right? If it's someone on our team, we want them to be all in. We want them to be committed. We not want them to be bought in. Moving someone at that level is a difficult thing to do. I want to share a quick story about a moment in my journey. I was in a junior, I think, in high school, and I was part of this leadership program, youth leadership program. And we were gathering in this room in Dutchess Community College for our session. The session of the day was going to be on public speaking. And we all gather in there, and I'm sitting near the front and just, tired after a long day, but ready for a session. I always enjoyed the talks that presenters came in and gave. And the leader of our group comes up to me and asks me if I want to introduce the speaker for the day in front of the 60 young people my age who were gathered in the room. And I was like, sure. And I get up nervously, right? I have this long script with these very confusing phrases and tangling words. And I read it in front of the group, stumbling quite a bit, and then walked over to my chair and sat down. And the speaker, whose name is Michael, came up and began to talk to us about public speaking. And as he talked, he took us on a journey. He took us on a journey about knowledge, about what we know, about experience, and finally, this is the moving part, about your why. The biggest question that Michael Esposito asked us just as high school students that day was, what is the why that's going to motivate your message? And I remember he opened it up, just kind of like I did at the beginning of this, for people to share their why, like the deepest part of who you are. And one of my close friends to my right shared her why. And I was so moved by like this whole experience that afterwards I did my second courageous deed of the night as a 16-year-old in high school. And I walked up and I introduced myself to the speaker and I asked to get further connected. And that's how I first met Michael Esposito. And that's not where the story ends. We connected about 3 years later, and I actually sought Michael out because I was moved. Because I was moved so deeply by the talk that he gave and by not just the talk. And here's one of the nuances with story. It's not just the communication. It's all of the events and all of the experiences that surround that communication that lead to that moment where you are moved deeply. Jamie, it's the people that you knew, right? It's your care for them. It's the environment, being around that table. It's the story that you told me itself that makes your receiving of that invitation so moving to you. It's not just the story you are telling someone that moves someone. It's when the story you are telling connects deeply with their own personal story and provides a path forward. That connection with Michael led to amazing things. And so here's the thing to realize for us today. As a leader, I'm going to change the word leader to be as a salesperson as well. As a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a salesperson, as a communicator. You are an experience maker. And every experience is an opportunity to touch someone so deeply that it makes them feel bigger. So you're actually giving a gift. You're actually giving a gift when you give a talk, when you provide a video, when you tell a story. So I just want to give you guys a quick quote that highlights a little bit the impact of storytelling. It's by Bernadette Jiwa, which I don't know a ton of her background, but I think this is a very impactful quote. She's in the storytelling marketing space. And she quotes or refers to Princeton professor Yuri Hassan's research and says that it is shown that when we tell stories, the brains of the listeners and the speaker synchronize. Stories literally help us build biological and emotional common ground. It's our very makeup, our physiology, I think that's how you say it, that enables us to empathize and be persuaded by stories. This psychological connection between head and heart is the reasons stories work. How you tell, that's the end of the quote. How you tell a great story. Follow me on this train here, okay? How you tell a great story. How do you give someone the gift of a moment? So how you tell a great story connects to how you gift someone a moment. Remember, we're giving a gift. The deepest moments are the moments where you feel the most alive. And so here's the conclusion of all this. By becoming a great storyteller, you are able to become the type of person who makes other people feel alive. You guys tracking with me? I know that was a bit wordy, but we're on this journey to become, I'm going to call it the story leader. So someone who has the ability to move other people in a way that inspires them. So two things we're going to talk about, spend the rest of our time on. The first we're going to talk about is the mindset. What is this story leader mindset? It's not just technical ability here. We're talking about a lifestyle. We're talking about a quest. We're talking about a way of thinking and a way of living that makes you into a great storyteller. And the second part of this is going to be practical tips for the social media story. I figured this would be a really good place for us since we're all immersed into the social media world now. And this is the space that I work in specifically. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time here on the story leader mindset, just sharing with you some of the things that I've learned about how to become a great storyteller. And then we're going to dive into some real practical examples. And I think that part will be very interactive. Everyone okay with that so far? Very good. 5 L's. If you're taking notes, there are going to be 5 L's here. Let me just brighten myself up a bit because I don't like being in the dark. 5 L's here on how to become a great storyteller, okay? The first L is going to be live. Live a great story. I like to define this with one word: adventure. So if we're going to journey, if we're going to become great storytellers, the first thing I'm going to encourage you to do is to just take on a great story. Go on an adventure. Now, for me, that sometimes means the physical wilderness. And I think a lot of us think that way. But I already know that you guys have endeavored on this adventure because you're entrepreneurs. You're in a space of uncertainty, of risk, of excitement. And when you're in that space, you actually begin to experience the stories that you'll end up telling. We'll tie it all together in a moment. The second L here is learn. And what we need to learn is we need to learn from life's story. I think I'm going to give you all the L's just so that it makes sense, and I'll go back through them briefly. So learn from life's story. One word that I would use to define this one is growth. The next one is lead, L-E-A-D, lead with great story. We talked a bit about this already. After that, we have listen to great story. And then finally, love the greatest story. These are actually like my company's core values. So we talk about them a lot. And the whole idea is we're becoming the type of people who are becoming great storytellers. So again, live with a great story. What is the adventure that you're going on? Just embrace it. Embrace the risk, embrace the uncertainty, step into the adventure of entrepreneurship. This was a big leap for me, but I can tell you that the experiences of your life contribute to your ability to tell a story well. All right, they'll give you stories, and they also just shape you as a person into a great storyteller. Next thing is learn from life's story. So your life is filled with stories, and it's sometimes tough to recognize these. And part of the personal growth that that comes along with becoming a great storyteller is to look at your life. And this is what I do. I look at my life through the lens of a story. So the different happenings and the different events all have somewhat of a story to them. And every story has a moral, right? Every story has a takeaway that you can then apply into your life. So for me, I had kind of an untraditional education. But no matter what your education is, the path of life teaches you everything you need to know if you pay attention to it. So learning and being growth minded, as Michael talks about all the time with life story, is of the utmost importance. Next thing is lead with great story. We've all experienced leaders who have a method of leading by giving you to-dos and controlling you. The beauty of leading with story, so leading by sharing a story with someone, is you're not telling them what to do. You're giving them a picture. You're helping them see in a way that inspires them to think for themselves. I was having some trouble with a team member and his hitting deadlines. So I shared a story with him about a time I missed a deadline and it affected things greatly. And I didn't even have to give him the instructions or the hard, this is what I need to see different from you. The story itself moves someone. We're talking about moving people here. So leading with great story, when think about who you have to move and how you have to move them, story becomes is a great leadership principle. Listen to great stories, the next one. And this might be my favorite. Everyone you interact with, this is how you can start to picture people, is carrying what I call an invisible backpack. They are carrying something, a burden that's weighing them down day in, day out. We are all carrying it here today. And guess what? It's hidden. It's probably hidden from them, and it's definitely hidden from you. So part of, and maybe the most important thing to becoming a great storyteller, is beginning to dig and search and see what the burden is. Every story is driven by a burden. Honestly, this might be one of the best nuggets that I give you. This is one of the biggest realizations that I had. Every story is driven by a burden. The character has a burden that motivates them towards an action. And one of the ways you can become an extraordinary storyteller is by every time you're in a conversation with someone, caring deeply and trying to uncover what that burden is for them. It's empathy. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And it's through listening. It's through Tom Langan, who has been on the call here before, and he's a legend in the space of storytelling and video production. He says, you want to hear what they're not saying and then get them to say it. So it's having those ears that go beyond just listening, or that go beyond just what's being said on the surface. Great storytelling actually begins with great seeing and great hearing, having great senses for everything in life. I use the word great a lot. Finally, the last great here we have is love the greatest story. I have a question for you all here. Who is the most important person in the world? Someone give me an answer. It's a tough one.
The person you're listening to at the moment?
Bingo! I think you're the first person who's ever answered that the way I want them to on the first try. Most important person in the world is the one that you're talking to, you're in conversation with, that's in front of you right now. And I'm not talking about me. It's the person you're in conversation with. And understanding that and giving the full attention and devotion to the person in front of you is, and not even just a person. Sometimes it's the moment in front of you is how you love the greatest story. And then knowing and I think it's even deeper than this. It attaches to the why, like Michael talked about back in the day. What motivates you? to begin with? What is the driver behind what you do? That's the greatest story. And having gratitude is critical to becoming a great storyteller, because then you can live in the moment and fully enjoy the moments that surround you. So we got the 5 L's of story, and we have a few minutes, and I really want to flesh out this mindset. I'm the youngest person on the call, so I guarantee that you guys have more insights than I do on this. So what are some thoughts? Let's just talk about this for a second. Live, learn, lead, listen, love. How do all of these relate to being a great storyteller? Any comments? Questions?
I
Yeah,
feel like
Rocky. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, please.
I was just going to say, think, as you go through this, a lot of this stuff stems from experience. As you're living, you're experiencing and you're creating that story through your life. And then you learn from that experience as you're going along. So that leads you to have that story at some point that you can share with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's well said. I think storytelling and like just every aspect of life is a lot more integrated than we think, and especially through experience, like you were saying, Ron. Jamie, did you want to say something as well?
Pretty much the same thing as, yeah. Yeah. I mean, in order to have good stories and be able to experience and give good stories, you need to live life in order to have them for yourself, listen to them from others, and just have things to reflect on.
Go ahead, Michael.
And I'd add journaling to this list here because you can, I put it in the chat, by the way, for everybody to live a great story, learn from life stories, all the 5 L's there. But our memories are short. And if we don't jot down these stories, then we will forget them. So journaling is something that I do not every day, but especially when something kind of pops in where I'm thinking, oh, that's going to be a good one. I like to jot it down somewhere. Journaling can take a form in many different ways. It could be with a paper and pen. It could be in an app. I've noticed that in Strava, when I'm like documenting my rides, I'll actually put a little bit more detail than I normally do in any other app. That's a form of journaling. It's a form of locking in that memory somewhere. So as long as you can go back and find it, it's going to be beneficial in terms of your storytelling. And the other piece of the storytelling is that there's no bad story. So if there is something that happens in your life that maybe seems like was a trauma or not that you don't really want to talk about it, definitely journal about it and try to find that hidden gem within it. I think when Rocky talks about gratitude, it's being grateful for everything, the good and the bad. We're living this life, and Buddha talks about it, is that life is supposed to be painful. So it's just part of our human experience. And so the good and the bad is something that we all experience. And so therefore, what can we take from it and share with others in a way that's going to help them, move them, and inspire them?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well said. Anyone else want to add any comments to this? Again, this is the mindset, the story mindset, right? So we're going to get into real practical things. I think just to piggyback on what you said too, Michael, I think journaling is definitely one of the ways that I can kind of make sense of the happenings of life, right? You do start to realize like, oh wow, I'm really living in a in a tale right now, and there's themes and there's actors and there's different players that contribute to a great story and a great lessons too. You can learn from those things. So journaling is definitely something that works well. Angel, do you want to say something?
I wanted to say that I do love the acronym and I want to hone in on love because sometimes we don't think about when we are engaging with somebody brand new that we've never met before, that we need to move in a place from love, perhaps give people the benefit of the doubt, perhaps consider that they may be facing us with their own kinds of social anxiety, and giving other individuals that space and that pause before we jump to conclusions ourselves.
Hey, Angel, before you turn off, and I'm so sorry to interrupt this, but I got to get us all just real quick. Can I get a screenshot of everybody just giving a hi or a thumbs up, whatever you want to give? Just a big wave. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thank you. And now you can turn off, Angel. Sorry to interrupt you, Rocky.
No, you're good. I guess that can be our segue into part 2 of this. And I think the best way to start this is for you to take one of those like Santa gift label things, which has a from and a to on it. You know, like when you're giving a Christmas gift to someone, you put one of these stickers on the gift and then you write the name from.
That's how young Rocky is that he still gets presents from Santa.
I do get presents from Santa. Yeah. Yeah. So from and to, this is about moving people. So we're all in a space where we move people. So if you have a notebook in front of you, I want you to write the 2 words from and to. And then moving is about transformation, right? It's about changing the way someone is. So now I want you to write, what do you have to move people from and what do you have to move people to? This isn't anything too deep. Like you can make it deep. And I feel like I've got 3 probably from and tos. Some of them are very deep. Some of them are more surface. So like one of my from and tos would be to move people from boring online to compelling storytellers, or something like that, right? So think about your business. Andrea, it might be move people from chaotic and disorganized, having their books in disarray and having that burden over them, to having clarity about where their finances stand in their business. So a from and a to. I think it's important we start here so that what I talk about and what we collectively talk about for the next stretch of time is relevant to everyone. So is anyone finished yet? They're from and they're to. So if you are in the business of moving people and you have finished your from and to, please raise your hand and share. Michael.
So for mine would be from nervous to courageous, from stumbling to clear, and from unorganized to polished.
Beautiful. That is perfect. Lewis, you unmuted. Do you have a from and a to?
Yeah, so I think I'm typically kind of bringing people from I need to fix this thing I have to I need to fix this part of this thing that is part of my life, or part of the life of my family, or part of my story, my history. So yeah.
Very cool. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, from fear of pain to confidence of movement.
Mm-hmm. Great. I'm going to actually have everyone give me theirs. So who would like to jump in next? I'm not seeing everyone on the screen at once.
Steve.
So Steve, go ahead.
From a clean house or business to a clean house or business?
From a dirty house or business to a clean?
Dirty, I meant.
That would make more
dirty
sense.
house to a clean, yes.
That's how clean you are.
Yeah, that's right. Even cleaner. Well, we don't sometimes we call that cleaning clean. We go to a house that's already clean, but we have to bring it to the next level clean, and then they're really happy.
So let's actually go a little bit deeper here, Steve, for a second, because I think the real moving of what you're talking about is a little bit more the moving of what you do, right? So you're talking about the moving of a space. the transformation in a space. What I want to make sure we're emphasizing is the movement of people.
Mhm.
And so in order to get to the place where you can move a place from being a dirty business to a clean business, that sounds really bad when I say it like that, but you know what I mean? How do you move people? What is the transformation that has to take place in their minds?
You're talking like maybe like joy.
I would say more like it really is the from overwhelmed by a dirty space to, I guess you could say, overwhelmed by a dirty space to ready to hire you to clean, right? Or hiring you to clean, that sort of movement. So the sale is essentially the movement of people, primary movement of people that you have to do, right? So maybe just reword that a little bit. I think it'll help in our conversation here. So just real quick, Angel, what would you say is your from and your to?
From feeling like an imposter to recognizing the confident leader within.
Beautiful. Matthew.
All right. From never getting thoughts and dreams down on paper to making them right and helping make them complete.
Mm-hmm. It's excellent. Dennis.
Yes, I wrote a bunch.
Okay.
Because my wheels are just turning. So I wrote to move people from feeling powerless to powerful, from fear to courage, and I'll just leave it like that. But I actually like wrote a few.
That's great. Excellent. Andrea.
Oh, you already said mine, Rocky. But before you said it, I actually did use the same terms where I said from chaos to organization.
Angel, did you give me yours already?
Ron, you're
You
missing
did.
Ron, I think.
I'm missing Ron. All right, Ron.
And if Shanta's here.
Yeah, I would say from, unknown to confidence.
Mm-hmm. From unknown to confidence. Okay, great. So again, kind of like what I said to Steve, for everyone, is it might help to distinguish in your mind the transformation that you're doing to change someone's mind, right? So that's really what we're talking about here, is from this mindset to this mindset. So from not knowing, for me, it's from not knowing they need video to convincing them that they do need video. It's that movement, which happens through the story of this transformation. So we're on the right track here. And the next big
So real quick, so for Ron, just knowing your business, Ron, it could be from not trusting outside vendors in terms of being able to manufacture their product to trusting your organization in manufacturing their product.
Yeah, we always say it's that letting go of the baby, because when you're taking somebody's business and it's essentially their baby. And that's the biggest thing is, think of yourselves in terms of a parent. The first day you drop your kid off at daycare, or leave it with your parents to babysit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pause here for a second. Because Ron, what you just did there is you used a story to illustrate an idea that help us understand the transformation that needs to take place. Okay. And here's where we're going with all of this. We want to, when we're thinking about storytelling and storytelling online, we need to begin with the transformation in mind. What is the change? What is the action we want people to take as a response to watching this video, seeing this post, or hearing us speak? What do I want people to do as a response? That's really the question that we're getting at here. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. So what is it that you want people to do? Is it to pick up the phone and call? When we're any video that my company is creating, we start by identifying the goal of this video. So as a result of watching this video, as a result of hearing this story, as a result of seeing this content, we want people to, and then you have the blank, right? What do we want people to do as a result? So I just want to like take us through a practical example, someone here. So what and Ron, maybe we'll continue to pull on you a little bit here. So as a result of seeing a post that you would make on social media, what do you want people to do? What's
I would want them, but the biggest thing is to go from that uncertainty to trusting that, you know, Mid Hudson Works would be able to help them manage their business better by leveraging outsourcing and freeing up their time.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. So this is the first step to crafting your story, your post, your all that is figure out what that goal is. So that's perfect, Ron. Uncertainty to trusting, right? From to. Let me give you guys a few real examples of reels. I think I'll be able to share my screen, right, Michael?
Yeah, you should be able to share it. And just to give you a heads up, we're at the 5-minute mark.
Sounds good. So examples are good because they're really practical. I'm just going to give you some of like the visuals here for how people use storytelling to how you can use storytelling to make this transformation.
Make sure you click optimize sound and optimize everything in there. You have to click those things when you share.
Share sound. Got it. Okay. Why is it asking me to add a password right now? Of all times. If it doesn't work.
While you're just doing that, just to connect everything for everybody here, because you and I have worked together on a lot of this stuff that you're talking about, is just kind of going back to what Rocky's talking about. And I hope I'm not stealing your thunder here, Rocky, but I think when we're talking about touching deeply, what Rocky's really trying to get you into is that space of empathy, is that space of authenticity, where it's really coming from your heart and not necessarily from a features and benefits side of things. And then going into the where are you moving people from, it's the same kind of feeling, is where are they in terms of not just the physical sense, but in the emotional sense, and how are you pushing them towards that? Because we all know this, we've heard this in sales, is that when you pull on people's heartstrings, that's where you're also pulling on their wallet and you're going to get them to move. Now, like Dennis, for instance, he doesn't really pull on people's wallets as much as he pulls on their action in the community, because he serves the community by uplifting people and getting them to change their ways. And so it's the same thing. It's getting into that heart so that now they could change their actions and become hopefully better people in the community as well. Go ahead, Rocky. I saw you were able to get it up there.
You're good.
I just filled the space.
Yeah, no, that was good. And I actually think I'm going to skip the examples for now and maybe paste them in the. Actually, I could. You know what I'll do?
Give us one.
I'll paste them all in the chat here, and we can refer to them later. Oh gosh, Zoom. Or I'll give you one. How about one? And you know what I'm going to do too is we always think it needs to be this complicated thing. I'm going to give you an example of a very simple story that has no words in it. And this will illustrate well the elements that a short video should have on social media. And hopefully it's valuable. So you guys all see that?
Yep.
So it's food, which is nice. I don't know if I pushed share audio, but that's okay because it's just music. Now, the only thing we needed to do is play. Which, you know, doesn't always work well. Here we go. I'm screaming. The light's so bright. It's hard to breathe, but it's all right. Okay, probably not what you were expecting after all this deep talking. But we went on a journey here. So we have two characters. We have the chicken. And we also have the person who's walking in the background. Okay? The person walking in the background has a moment of realization. Oh, there's chicken. He also has another moment of realization. That chicken isn't good enough yet. So he walks over, and then we have a moment of transformation, which in this case, it's sometimes you can refer to this moment as an explosion. In this case, the explosion is simply pouring that magic sauce or whatever on this piece of chicken that like brings the piece of chicken to life. Okay, so here I'm just going to give you a quick list of the elements that a great story has. And what ties us to what we just talked about before, the from and the to, is that the transformation that happens to the character in the story should reflect the transformation you're looking for in the mind of the viewer. So the elements here of a great short story is you have a hook, something to capture attention. Next, you have a character. After that, you have some degree of conflict, some degree of conflict, and then you have the transformation and the resolution. So hook, capture attention. All right, that can be very simple. This one doesn't have much of a hook, other than that looks like a delicious piece of chicken. The angle is the hook a little bit. The next thing you have is the character. So again, the character in this story, you have two. You have the chicken and then you have the person walking. The character must be relatable in some way. You got to be able to see yourself walking by a piece of chicken. Okay. Then after this, you have the conflict. Oh, that chicken isn't complete yet. And we don't realize the conflict until the action starts to be implemented, which is pouring stuff on the chicken. And then finally, you have the transformation, which is, whoa, it's a new piece of chicken. And then after that, the resolution, which in this case is our actor, our character walking into the distance. So this is a very like what would you call it? A non-deep, a very surface level example of a story. But at the same time, the power of story is it could connect with someone deep because you're taking them on a journey. So you're showing the transformation, and you could probably make a list, and if we had time, we would, of all the things that this story of chicken is communicating to us about transformation. And it relates to this place, this restaurant, and how what they offer is valuable to customers. So I can paste the other examples in the chat because there's verbal stories, there's visual stories, and then there's more complicated verbal and visual stories. But what I want you to think about just as we close is the value of storytelling. What I've given you here is a mindset to invest in your own life, and then a few very basic tools to begin to utilize. And I wish we had time to get into a little bit more practical. And that's just my bad for not managing the time on this well. But you can certainly let me know. And like what I did with Michael recently is we just like fleshed out actually a really good example of this, how to communicate his value through in what he's doing for Pedal for Purpose in a way that connects with people well. So if you want to learn more about the practicals, let me know. But I'm going to leave you with this. Seeing and moving. Leadership is about seeing the vision and moving people towards it. Storytelling is about seeing things in life in a certain way. That's the mindset. And then the practical abilities and the skill set, the elements of story, is how you move people towards that vision. So great storytelling starts with great eyesight and great empathy. So even as you think about the words spoken here, think about them through the context of your story. How does that relate? At the end of the day, we all want to live great stories. And telling a great story opens the door. It opens the world for you to live a great story. All right, so that's what I got. Michael, back to you.
Nice job, Rocky. Really, really great work today. And just to just give everybody another little takeaway that I know you might not have been able to share with everybody just because of time, is something that Rocky does with all of his clients and prospects, which is simply for all of you, you could probably do this for yourself right now, is just write down some of the information that Rocky shared, and just write it down for yourself in terms of like, what is it that you want to share on social media? So you can literally create a post today, tomorrow, based off of this workshop by writing down what is it that I want to share and kind of storyboarding how that might look in a real simple format of why would somebody be interested in this? Like using his story framework, why would somebody be interested in this? What's the call to action? Keep it super simple. Shoot a reel on this. Shoot like a quick 30-second or 1-minute video on this. And then I'm sure what you could probably do is reach out to Rocky, schedule some time with him, show it to him, and he could probably give you some tips on how to improve that and also how you might be able to work together. I want to thank Rocky for being here. As you all know, this Take Action call is free for everyone to attend, and therefore the speakers are not paid. So it is a plug for their business. So please visit Landscape Media. Please reach out to Rocky. His information is all in the chat there. If you have any questions, if you'd like to schedule a one-to-one with him, or if you'd like to hire him for his work, he's very professional and really, really great. We did a shoot yesterday. He had a clipboard and everything. I was like, man, I really am getting the treatment here. All that to be said, we have our call next month. It's on June 11th, again at 11 a.m. Eastern on Zoom. I am looking for speakers, so if you have suggestions, please email them to me. I'm also looking for suggestions as to what it is that you want to learn. What is it that you're working on in your business that would be something that would be beneficial for you to show up on June 11th? Also share this with your networks. It is to help everybody and to promote everybody to be able to live a great life. I want to end with Pedal for Purpose. We are wrapping up the month on May 31st. I will be riding 105 miles. Yes, Jamie, I will be riding it. You're going to get me in shape to be able to do that. Big plug for Jamie as well on May 31st. So please visit joinpedalforpurpose.com, make a donation, become a virtual rider, or come ride with us. I would truly, truly be appreciated. I want to thank all of you for taking the time today, rearranging your schedules to be here on this Zoom to support Rocky, to support yourself and your own personal and professional development. It's been really great seeing you all here today and looking forward to seeing you all on June 11th. Thanks, everybody. Stay happy and stay healthy.
Thank you, guys.
I'll stay on a little extra if anybody needs. See you, Jamie.